Welcome to this clinically pressed wellness insight. This insight we are calling Minding the Middle. And we're trying to talk about health and fitness. Just spending more time online with digital media recently due to COVID and just seeing more things out there. It always gets me back to thinking about the extremes that we see when it comes to health and fitness, and that it seems that it has to be, in a lot of people's eyes, only one thing really can be the thing that fixes your diet, fixes your health, makes you get in shape. It's the best of the best and always is. And I've always struggled with that and have learned over my career that that is not the case, because if that was, then everybody would be doing it. We wouldn't keep coming up with new things, and essentially it would be it and done, and that would be all that it is. But that never is how it actually works out. And so this is almost just like a friendly reminder of, we have to look at this world of extremes, and there's a place for almost everything. Now, there is some crook and snake oil types of stuff out there, absolutely. But for the most part, things have a place, and that can be different for everybody, and that's okay that it's different for everybody. The ketogenic diet, as an example, it may not be a solution for everyone, but it may be an extremely powerful solution for a select few, or potentially very many. When you're looking at helping with cancer treatments and the ketogenic diet, that doesn't apply to everyone, but man, for those that need it, it is perfect, and that's good. Kind of the same thing with fitness, going out there and looking at the different things that, depending on your goals and what you're trying to do, there might be certain things that fit for you, but there might be certain other things that might not fit for you. And we have to be okay with the fact that we don't have to fit into the niche of what somebody's trying to sell us or get us to do. Really, and this is hard, I don't sell a lot of things. I'm not very good at selling a lot of things. But trying to look at, are people saying that? Like, to me, it's, here's an option, here's why we think it works, here's how we're going to make it work for you, is something more powerful than this is the thing, this is what's going to work for everybody, this is what fixes so many things. And really, that's something to pay attention to. So are people actually trying to help you and improve what you're doing, or are they just trying to sell you something? I took a statistics course recently, and the idea of the bell curve and distribution came up. And when you really look at the bell curve, and if you go to the video of this, there's a picture on there, but it's very easy to Google. 68 or so percent live right in the middle, or within one standard deviation. You take that out a little bit more, and you're looking at adding another 27.2%. So really, at the extreme ends, we're looking at 4.4% of these outliers, where some of these things really can benefit them and take them to the next level in their health or their fitness, or a specific supplement to help take them over the edge, for whatever it may be. People will talk about looking at the extremes of high-level professional athletes and some of the things they do to help their body, and then if you look at the research, it shows that there's only a small amount of potential improvement with those. Well, for somebody that's operating at that high a level, on the outside of this bell curve, that can be what sets the difference, because they already have so many percentage points of what they have focus on to hit the big things, that a 1% increase could mean all the world to them, whereas a 1% increase for myself is an improvement, absolutely. But is there other things I can look at that can get me a 4 or 5% increase that aren't, super expensive or anything like that, in terms of some of the different technologies and things that are out there? So this comes back to, for me, looking at the evidence-based paradigm in terms of how you're using some stuff. And really, for a consumer, this can be overwhelming depending on how scientific you are or want to get. But looking at, is there actual evidence out there? Google Scholar is a great resource. It's not that you need to go in and read all these journal articles, because that can be daunting in and of itself, but it is something you could take a look at to see if there's actually evidence out there. Examine.com does a great job of summarizing all the research, especially when it comes to supplements. Highly recommend checking them out. But then looking at expertise. Expertise and experience are very different. I don't think everyone in the health and fitness world needs to have a PhD. I don't think that is a necessity, but I also think they need to demonstrate that they've done something more than just sign up in a mid-level marketing system to sell supplements or shakes or an exercise program or whatever it may be. If it works for them, that's great, but what are they doing to back up those claims? And again, that doesn't necessarily have to be traditional schooling in the world we live in now, with the instant access to so much good data and bad data, to say that you can really teach yourself a lot and have an impact without having to have gone through traditional school and spend 10 years trying to obtain all your different degrees to get to that. Does it help? I think so. It demonstrates a respect for the knowledge and the desire to get deep down and not just look at the surface claims, because some of these people, when they start talking to you about nutrition, don't know necessarily all the underlying science, whereas others who have spent the time doing it and even are teaching it really can get deep into that data and that information, and that can be reassuring for people when you're looking to buy things from them. But that's not necessarily to say that somebody that has a PhD in something is always credible in what they're trying to sell you. You always have to be aware of that. And then look at personal values. What is important to you? How much are you willing to spend for something that may or may not be a panacea or something that really helps you out, versus going and looking at things that have been proven to have general benefits that are a good starting point and hopefully aren't super costly to you. There's a lot you can do in nutrition and fitness and performance that don't have to cost a ton of money, and I think that gets lost in the glitz and the glam of everything that is out there today. And then one other thing that I always take a look at and kind of trying to mind the middle with some of these things is, if you're looking at stuff of what people are selling, and that could be fitness or nutrition, is it a product or is it education? Because for me, looking at some, and again, this is kind of a blanket, but it's hard to be overly specific just given the nature of things. But if they're selling you a product, that doesn't necessarily mean they've got their best interest in mind. They're trying to just sell you a product. Now, that product could be really, really good and be the thing that helps your health and your fitness and your wellness and whatever it may be, and that's perfect if it is. Whereas if they're selling you education, sure, they're still selling you something, but it's giving a set of tools that you can now go and apply to the rest of your life in order to get something accomplished in your health and your fitness and everything with that. It's not necessarily one time you purchase it and then you have to keep purchasing it. You gain the education, you get that information, and now you can apply that over and over and over and refer back to it, add on more information as you get through it. And all of that, I think, really is beneficial and gives you a locus of control to help on your health and fitness improvement journey. So again, kind of the thought of this and minding the middle is, just watching the extremes. They can be really good, but again, if something were that good, we'd all be doing it, and that would be the end of it. That hasn't occurred yet. Some very smart people in this is there's really nothing new that's being invented on a day-to-day basis with all of this stuff. It's just getting repackaged and combined to potentially make it more efficient. So that's something to keep in mind too. A lot of it you can find without having to then go and fully purchase or whatever it may be, something that is quote-unquote new. So really try and stick to the basics. The basics are fine. It's going to work for a vast majority of people. When you get to a higher level, then it's something to talk about. Looking at different things that might really, truly take you up just that percentage point that you need to compete at the highest level. That's a different conversation for a different day. As always, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us on social media. Hope everybody's doing well, enjoying the summer, and we will talk to you all soon.